Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ageless Rock, a channel where megalithic fans get to see things from a megalithic perspective. Today, we are going to see an interesting rock in Adadi Mariam in Oromia region of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is definitely a very underrated tourist destination when it comes to megalithic sites. As usual, we have very little to no clue how in the middle of Ethiopia there is a monolithic rock-cut church. Adadi Mariam is in a small village in southwest Shiva zone in Oromia region. The major town in this district is Leman, but don't underestimate what this small village has to offer. It is not a gigantic structure, but an interesting one nevertheless. Adadi Mariam Rock-cut Church is south of Lalibela and Dagmawi Rock-cut churches. You can check those out in my channel under Ethiopia playlist. It is unimaginable that Ethiopians in recent past were busy hacking away bedrock to have a subterranean rock-cut church to worship God. I can see from Google Earth the measurements for this rock-cut church project is about 27 meters long by 24 meters wide from edge to edge of the exterior trench. It is a size comparable to the world-famous Church of St. George in Lalibela, which measures approximately 27 meters by 27 meters on the longer sides. It looks like a structure half the depth of Church of St. George, which is 12 meters deep. This monumental monolithic church has 3 stairways you can use to enter and exit. It is surrounded by a trench about 6 meters deep. The monolithic church itself is about 19 meters long by 16 meters wide, measuring from Google Earth. This monolithic church was hollowed out into 2 main rooms and a tunnel that goes around it. It is like a structure you can circumambulate around the 2 rooms. Basically, the monolithic rock-cut church is surrounded by a narrow trench. The trench is connected to the church on all sides by a lot of openings that look like random shape and size and not aligned in any way. If you look at the monument, you can feel that this is hardly a design by human nature. It is not measured or aligned and has creepy tunnels of various heights. Some parts are exceedingly high and some are as low as 4 feet. This rock-cut church was first mentioned in 1926 by M. Azais and Chambard. It was not a rediscovery because it was never lost. It was not recorded or documented in the Western world and hidden from the knowledge of the mainstream archaeologists and historians. Mr. Azai's description is confusing as he described the surrounding ditches and side openings. The largest room is called Queenie Malet. It is 13 meters long by 4 meters wide. The ceiling is 2.6 meters high. Pretty impressive work for primitive tools where 135 cubic meters of bedrock were removed. The intermediate room, known as Kades, is 8 meters long by 2.5 meters wide and is flanked by 2 exits on both sides. The largest room, called Magdas or Sanctuary, is a rectangular room measuring 12.5 meters by 10.5 meters. It is the Holy of Holies with 2 pillars on the side with 2 exits on both sides as well. This monolithic rock-cut church is believed to have been constructed by King Lalibela of Zagwe dynasty in the 12th or 13th century. According to Christian tradition, King Lalibela had a vision that Mary and her child Jesus visited this place, and he ordered a rock-cut church to be carved out. Logically, the Oromo people, who are indigenous people of this land, should know something, but instead we know nothing rock solid. However, they do believe that this monument is their spiritual home. Sounds like they know something they rather not say. From the corridor looking out and from the trench looking in, this church looks random in every way and definitely unfinished. If it is unfinished, then where are the chisel marks? Weathering cannot explain the disappearance of chisel marks inside or outside, since it is only about 800 years old. This structure looks like a monument intentionally made underground for a reason we will never know. The amount of time spent on this church would have produced a wooden church 10 times bigger over a period 10 times sooner. Anyway, it was used till 16th century and buried due to turmoil. It was then excavated in 1887 by King Menelik II. I am still unclear if Mary asked King Lalibela to hew a bedrock church, or it was supposed to be just a normal wooden church, but King Lalibela took it to the next level himself. It is odd that all it took was a dream, and men would actually carve something into the bedrock without asking why. If Ethiopians carved this out of bedrock about 8 to 900 years ago, why would they need UNESCO led by Swiss to do restoration? I would think the Swiss were there to learn from Ethiopians how to carve, bury, unbury, restore and renovate a monolithic rock-cut church. I would like to draw your attention to another monolith in Afghanistan. It is called Taq-i-Rustam. Both are monoliths and they are about the same size but about 1000 years apart. This is hardly a coincidence that Africans and Middle Eastern Afghans were crazy about hammering bedrock. The rectangular roof of Adadi Mariam Church seems to have a higher and pointed center, while the round Buddhist monastery has a square harmika. I wonder if the unknown ancient builders had a purpose for these structures where the energy is supposed to focus at the center. Well, the champion for monolithic house of worship is by far the Kailasa temple of Ellora in India. But Indonesians at Gunung Kawi are in the bandwagon for no reason and no religion. Maybe we should just pause for a moment and stop praising those who live around this area for their hard work. Instead of giving unlimited praises to ancient Ethiopians about how hardworking they were in mining metal elements to smelt and forge into chisels to carve the hardest material into religious house, maybe we should be wondering if the unknown ancient builders around the world were actually the same guy. Let's take a look at the stairs, for example. It cannot be due to heavy traffic because there wasn't enough people to cause this curved depression at the center of each step on the stairs. Neither can this be carved intentionally by human. At Kenoni in Peru, there is an enigmatic megalithic structure. We have yet to know what it is. But I want to highlight the stairs at Kenoni. It looks like the same unknown ancient builders did the same design on purpose. There is another megalithic culture recently discovered with no link to any culture or civilization. How it got there still baffles everyone who is trying to understand anything about it. So awesome but yet clueless doesn't really add up. Just the stairs alone is enough to be suspicious about the origin of megalithic sites. These are not done by hammering ancient soft chisels. These are scoop marks by unknown tools from an unknown civilization. They came before us and made things we will never know what they are for. This is not how human beings make stairs, and if this is erosion due to rain, it will take 10,000 years in a climate that rains every day. The trench sides can be wide and narrow. The holes are random in location and height. We still cannot explain the reason for all the niches and tunnels at this site. This is an immense amount of work done if this was handmade with primitive tools. But once it was done, there wasn't any statues, reliefs, or murals to indicate this was a religious site, let alone a church. If found in Egypt, archaeologists would have been on overdrive searching for the lost sarcophagus. Today, this monolithic bedrock is a center point for pilgrims on Mary's Day, where thousands of pious Ethiopian Orthodox worshippers will congregate. There are monthly and annual celebrations here. November and January 21st are dates to look out for. This site now attracts 25,000 to 35,000 people annually, both pilgrims and tourists. This monolithic rock-cut cave church was used upon completion, abandoned for no real reason, and used again without any cave extension despite having better tools. I think we should rethink about our history. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Adadi Mariam Monolithic Church that will shed some light at the end of the tunnel on humanity one day. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Malcolm Willow.